with Ethan and Lucas, the largest players on the floor right now. Axon loses the handle a little bit, but then is able to shake him. Ethan has been focusing on driving. He can also shoot it from outside, but really been aggressive getting inside. Nathaniel was as well, but not quite able to get it to fall amidst a forest of arms.
Yeah, that's a great take from Nathaniel to take that all the way inside against a much bigger defender. Just shows the aggression there, and a great defensive play. They could really capitalize on a transition basket here if they move quickly.
No foul call there. It looked like it was a clean defensive stop. Good presence of mind from Ethan. The three is a little bit deep, and they're not going to get points out of that, but a good work and a great play. It's going to end up with 2 points for the Rhinos. Great effort from the Eagles. Just the save was a little bit tricky to direct. It's 21-15 as we get close to the 10-minute mark. Delaney, let's see if he can go up, and finishes with his left.
At first I thought possibly that he was going to pass that ball out and it wouldn't have been a problem, but I really felt like he should really take that guy in and get big down to the post. What a great move from Job Seasteen there. Works the ball out to Ethan Delaney, back to Job. Drives in, takes it back out. Looks like they're just trying to play a little bit isolation. Coach screaming for Job to take that one to the bucket. Good defense by Ethan Delaney. Took a little bit of a risk there, hopping in front of the defender, but almost had the steal there. Braxton's with the ball right now.
And it's a corner three by Lucas. Gets that one to go. Is able to drop that. It's 26-19 by the Eagles. Threes leading, a big part of leading this game. Let's see if Dallas can bring him back. An inside-outside threat, but not able to get it. Lucas doing the work.
This could be
Job cleans it up. Nathaniel, just a little bit off from the baseline there.
Yeah, what you would have liked to see there, David, is Nathaniel drive the ball in a little bit. It was really a 2-on-1 situation. Ethan on the corner of the paint. If he would have drove in, it might have drew the defender out. If not, he's got a wide open basket there and just didn't have the presence of mind to make sure that he was kind of looking at the situation at hand. But still, nonetheless, not a terrible shot.
And we appreciate you sticking with us. Looks like we got some technical difficulties that should be sorted out now, per our resident answer all of everyone's calls, media maestro Chris Roberts.
And what a maestro he is.
We've got a couple of substitutions here. Gabe Delaney, Zach Brown in for the first time tonight. Chris back in. He hits him from three.
Hits a three right away.
And they've been hot from outside. Sometimes you can be riding that wave, and then all of a sudden it just cools off immediately.
Right.
You're going to want to see a commitment to finding baskets from all over the floor. But they've been taking smart threes. They've been considered threes. It hasn't just been heat checks getting lucky. Chris, now Gabe swarming. Nathaniel coming up for the contest. Rims out. And
that's a great box out by Zach Brown there.
Gabe ending up with it, but good team defense. Now Chris to Zach, works it the other way, and now over to Braxton, who's able to collect it and finishes. Strong drive.
You would have liked to see a foul there with the defender completely having his back turned. Ball doesn't lie, it's a carry, and we get the ball right back.
And the Eagles here, it looks like we're gonna have a media timeout. 7:54. left in the first half. It is 29-19, and the battle of the four-letter acronyms, WCBC out in front of SCLU. 10-point margin here, really in large part by some sweet shooting. Lucas Hernandez doing a great job in a start here, hitting from outside. Job driving, Chris has hit some, Ethan's shown some commitment inside. Good team effort here so far.
David, what are you liking that you're seeing from the Eagles? What would you like to see them fix in the midst of this game early in the, really kind of the midway point of the first half?
Well, one thing that I'm impressed by, really, and the gist that I like about the game in general, the refs are letting them play. It's been a pretty clean game so far. It hasn't felt like they've been missing fouls, but they've been relatively lenient with the whistle. Only 3 fouls by the Eagles so far, only 2 against the Rhinos, and especially with a big man for SCLU who can just grind away on the boards over the course of the game. Happy to see that they're doing a good job keeping themselves clean, foul-wise, and gives you the ability to remain physical throughout the course of the game without having those second thoughts. And so coming out of the media timeout here in a couple of seconds, 29 for your West Coast Baptist College Eagles. Gives them a double-digit margin over the 19 for the Southern California Leadership University Rhinos. And looks like we've got the same lineup coming out of this media timeout as we did coming in. Maybe with one substitution, as Job is back in after just a little mini breather here in the early going.
Yeah, I think what Coach even is telling them from the bench is he wants Job to be able to drive through the center a little bit more, maybe through the center and then dish out, or put it up to the bucket. Looks like, again, the ref is allowing them to play a little bit, which there's nothing wrong with that. We like to see a good physical basketball game.
And after just complimenting it there, and good quick hands in there, they called it out on the Eagles, but just breaking up the flow of the offense. Feels like there was, enough contact that Job would have sometimes gotten the whistle there, but if we're going to compliment the refs for letting it go, it's a little hard to really go after them there. But you want to make sure that Job's tenacity in getting inside does get rewarded as that little guy, right? Part of why he's taking it at him is to try to get some slow arms in the way.
Right.
First personal foul. 13th foul.
And the infamous commentators jinx. If you talk too much about how they're not calling fouls, we might slow down to a slog here. Chris looking, is able to get it in. And
Daniel on the outside taking a really good elbow shot. Just can't find the touch tonight. But if they keep letting that boy shoot, I know that he'll start to feel the hoop a little bit more, and start to get his touch. And he's got a great shot.
He's coming strong. He's one of the less experienced players on the team. Right? He's newer to the college than some of the guys that have contributed for longer. And he's still growing into his role and finding his role. But there's been some nice things. And looks like that one was deflected. And Nathaniel getting up there for it. But yeah, he's definitely been a contributor here right away. Yeah. Coach Sisson loves just that next wave of young guys coming in and giving quality minutes here. Joe bringing it up. 29-23, 6.5 left. Gabe, Nathaniel, and gets picked from behind. But they're going to call that a foul. And it looked like he almost got away with a steal, but the ref had the angle right there. Must have noticed a little something nefarious on the backside.
And it looks like number 1 is going to take a seat on the bench, Carlos Kennedy, and I think he's at 2 fouls at this point.
Which isn't too bad, but enough that you got to start monitoring it. Delaney to Delaney, and a little bit to the left. A chance at a 3 there, and the Rhinos finding a little bit more rhythm, trying to work their way back into the game. Got it from 10-6 with the ball now, and fade away too deep, and a late whistle comes in. Looked like Ethan had gotten the block there, and then they rung him up pretty late there. It's going to be his second.
It looks like a clean, aggressive play, but the ref sees an angle probably that we don't back here. And he's just playing aggressive at this point. So
we're not a particularly chatty team, especially towards the refs, and part of that is by design. You don't want your team just to be whining in the refs' ears all game.
Absolutely.
And so Ethan wasn't going after him there, but you could tell he felt like he had gotten that one cleanly. Only one of the two, and Ethan comes down with that board hard. Braxton now pushing it up the court before slowing it down and bringing a little more control here. Lucas looking like he's getting ready to check in. A couple players that could be for. We'll see who it ends up being.
What a beautiful pass in by Job. And I was just about to say, David, it's been a while since they scored a basket. Job said, I'm going to take it in my own hands. Fired beautiful dime to Ethan Delaney, and a basket on the inside for 2.
And in the margin had been halved down to 5. It's at 7 now. Eagles up 31-24. About 5 left here. Let's see if the Rhinos can respond. And they keep the ball amidst heavy pressure, are able to kind of get it back into their offense. About half the shot clock gone. That's a little too deep. The effort there, and he almost was able to clear that one out, but just a bit of his heel, it looked like, on the line. Gabe Delaney working a little bit more by shifts tonight than a long run of minutes per se, but it's been effective, worked hard, and Lucas coming back in now. He's had a good touch so far tonight. We'll see if that continues.
Looks like they're playing a little bit higher on defense than normal, catching them kind of in that midpoint between the three-point line and the half court, and making sure that they're forcing SCLU to use all the shot clock to move that ball around. Nice
and a shot clock
there.
violation. Eagles got away with one there, and by got away with, they earned every bit of that. If the shot clock had been a little bit longer, Braxton might have gotten rung up for a foul there, but at the same time, you also know they have to force a shot up. So just aggressive, just being right there in that moment, and it was just a great defensive play. Swinging it over, Joe for 3, and almost able to get that one there. And Ethan almost getting the second chance.
Ethan again aggressively playing to the inside, almost adding that rebound there.
Out deep, and like you said, not always, but sometimes they're just well clear a step. Really, even for Lucas, 2 or 3 there, completely clear of the three-point line. The Rhinos haven't really shown much of a willingness to pull from deep.
Yeah, you would have liked to see some boxing out there. Looks like they got a little bit lazy on defense, and the Eagles really need to score a basket here.
And Job hears and answers. Almost went full before they pray, I will answer. Really, as the words were coming out of your mouth, he was laying that one up with the left. 33-26, Eagles up still in the early going. Let's see if the Rhinos can respond. It's been a good close game. Eagles with a comfortable margin, but certainly this one isn't done with. Refs let in some contact go there. It felt like they had gotten ball first. Ethan with the finish. Gets it to go with the left.
That was a great take.
And Coach Sisson has really been pushing the guys to advance the ball fast when they're able. We're going to see if they can make this one a track meet. Both sides going at it hard, even in kind of pseudo-transition moments like we've seen there. Job able to get it out to Nathaniel. Who smashes it?
There's that 3-point. And we hope towards the end of this half that that's kind of the fire that gets Nathaniel started on his shots. He's been a little bit short tonight, but it looks like he found the thread there at the right time.
Lead back out to 10. Oh! And I'm surprised that they called a foul.
15 foul.
Braxton surprised that got called on him. Felt like, if anyone, it was maybe going to be Nathaniel coming in. Really, more what you would guess would be a jump ball. Right. But they called that on 10, so maybe Braxton was behind him and was kind of right in the line of sight where the Rhinos player was right in front of him from our angle. but I think he's about as surprised as we are that his name hit the scoreboard.
Yeah, I don't know if I saw anything there. It looks like Jackson had really good position, but again, we just want to make sure we know that the ref has a better angle than we do on seeing that. There could have been a reach in at some point in time. Nathaniel, it seemed like to me, had already grabbed the ball in time for a jump ball, but you know what, that's okay. That's what the refs called, and we'll move on. One of the things that I'm seeing now that's been great from the Eagles is that they're able to keep that lead at maximum, really at 10 points, and at the closest it's been tonight, David, I think it was at 6 points. And so they're able to kind of course, outside of the first minute and a half, but it's been really good to see, even when SCLU kind of comes back, that the Eagles have had the tenacity to be able to score a bit more and put that 10-point distance between the two again.
And as well as they're playing, and this is really more complimentary than criticism, it doesn't feel like the Eagles have had to just completely shift into just execution mode, just to finish them off. It hasn't felt like they've had to just dial it up to 120%, but that's almost what you want, right?
Yes.
Teams just handle it, right? They can keep scoring buckets without feeling like every score is a last gasp, or keep getting stops without feeling like they have to throw themselves at every last bit. And the Eagles just comfortably, in a manner of speaking, hard-working for sure, working on offense. That three almost able to fall there by Galindez. 38-28, 2:20 left here.
And Joe Cicci with a little bit of a push there. One of the things that he just did on transition, he took a risk. He had a wide open layup. He took a risk, passed it out, trying to get the three for a wide open three. Just a little bit short on that three. But, you know, I still overall think it was a wise decision, trying to get some of his players in the game and trying to get their hands a little hot.
Eagles have done a relatively good job overall. There have been a couple possessions where there have been 2 or 3 offensive rebounds, but generally speaking, it's not like every possession is getting furthered with a rebound. It's probably still going to be a point of emphasis over the halftime break, but all in all, especially with the height disadvantage, you know, without one of those guys like we've had with Amon or someone in years past, or Colton or others, really tall guys on the team.
Right.
We've got guys like Zach May that have their role and have minutes to contribute, but we're not playing with a true center or a really rangy four. And all in all, pretty good job keeping off the boards here by effort. Braxton gets that one there as a false one.
Now, it's interesting on that last foul, it looks like it should have been on Braxton, which I think would have been number 3 on him, but instead they ended up giving it to Chris Galindez, which is just his first foul, and so kind of Eagles get a little bit of a break there, to be honest.
I wonder if that's a makeup for Braxton getting rung up for arguably contact trying to Fanduel earlier. It's just, you know, just a little bit of foul communism, just sharing it down the line, right? Just distributing the wealth here. Great bucket, though, up to 11. I think largest lead of the night. Let's see if they can build it on it in the last minute and a half here. Delaney with some good defense, goes short and pushes it up the court and gets it, can't get it to fall with his left, but the ref there, seeing the contact, gets the whistle, and Ethan's gonna have a chance to push this out to the largest lead of the night. Only the first foul on number 22.
Right. That foul's on Shakir Howard. Again, David mentioned this is his first foul. And Ethan being able to extend this lead here. Great take on that. And you could see last second as he was going to finish the basket, Shakir came over top and fouled him. And that ball kind of went a little bit wild there.
Coach Sisson coaching them up during the interim between that first and second free throw, giving them some instructions. We got a minute left, 41-29 Eagles. Just a comfortable display so far, but you don't want to turn that into complacency for sure. Let's see if the Eagles can finish this one here. Job slows him down on the inside. Ethan is coming over with those extending arms. Rejects that one here. 8 on the shot clock. Let's see if the Eagles can get a stop in a 2-for-1 here.
Looks like Job is complaining that should have been an offensive elbow right to the chest. I actually thought I saw a walk before the last play, but
Got to pull it here, and that's a little deep, but the offensive board came right down to him. This is kind of what we talked about. Good work by Lucas finishing that one. They're going to call a foul against the Rhinos, and they've got to be kicking themselves for that. Lucas had done a great job going up in traffic to eventually close the possession for them, but with the Rhinos swarming around him, they felt like they had a chance to get it back for a quick steal. Now, the Eagles with the chance to burn off the clock here. With only 11 seconds differential, I don't think you go for a 2-for-1 here unless the situation really just presents itself. You probably just hunt the best shot you can find, and then you dig in for one good defensive possession.
I think if you can get a good shot here and then have a fantastic defensive possession, maybe even a turnover, you go into halftime with incredible momentum.
And I think you want to burn some time. You don't necessarily want to have to dig in and defend for all 30 seconds if you can help it.
Oh, bad turnover.
Pass over to the corner. It's been a sweet spot for the Eagles so far tonight, especially by Hernandez. But the pass goes a little bit awry, and now 24.7 on the game clock. Eagles up 13, and this is probably going to just about be the final possession of the half, unless they find something they feel real comfortable with.
Oh, great defense.
And I will happily be wrong in that projection. Ethan snagging that one. 5. Job looking for his shot and not able to get that. Job immediately looking for some contact. Looked like he was kind of getting bumped over to the edge, but nothing there, and it's going to go into the halftime break with the same score as it's been the last couple possessions. 41 for your West Coast Baptist College Eagles, 29 for the visiting Southern California Leadership University Rhinos. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes with some halftime stats, observations, and other general insight. We appreciate you tuning in wherever you are around the country or around the world.
Absolutely.
Being part of this experience, part of our home crowd here at this game tonight. And so we appreciate you. We'll be back in just a minute.
this, guys. You need to go back. You need to go back. You got to go cheating. All right. If you have a frisbee, come on back. We're going to do just a little closer for our second round. Just a little closer. Your partners can stand on the free-throw line. I'm sorry, the three-point line. Your partners can stand on the three-point line of the partner on this side. To get out, you must drop both frisbees to get out this round. Let's back behind the line. Here we go. All right, the three-point line. Here we go on our second round. Just a little closer. Here we go. Together now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go! Go back to the line. Go back to the line. You must drop both frisbees to be out. Both frisbees to be out tonight. Keep it going. I'll be honest. Cheer your players on tonight. If you see someone from your school, cheer them on. They can hear you. Guys, go back to the line. Back to the line. Keep it going. Keep it going. If you drop both frisbees, you need to get out of the court. It looks like we are winding down. Keep it going. Stay behind the line. Stay behind the line. Cheer your players on. You drop it. You are out. A lot of you guys are on one frisbee now, one frisbee. Keep it going. Make sure you're behind the line. Make sure you're behind the line. You will not win anything from the hanger if you are not behind the line. Keep it going. Keep it going. All right, everyone on this side, take a step backward. Keep going. Take a step backward. Keep going. There we go.
Like what?
Here we go. Oh man, it looks like we got four teams left. 4 teams left. Cheer them on. If they're from your school, they need to hear you. So close. So close. Keep it going. We only have a few teams out here. These guys are on the move now. This side, take one more step back.
And welcome back to the halftime show here at the Walther Center. It's not much of a halftime show. It's just me and Nick talking about numbers. But we're going to put on as much of a show as we can for you with it. Our leading scorers from the first half, Job Seasting with 13, Ethan Delaney and Lucas Hernandez both with 9. Chris Galindez, the other player with multiple buckets, coming in at 5 points. Braxton Bosher, our leading rebounder with 4. Also our leading assister, dishing it out 3 times, with Job and Ethan both getting a pair of dimes themselves. Ethan, 4 steals and a block, and a big part of the defensive pressure going on so far here in the game. From Southern California Leadership University's side, really not that effective from the field. 37% from the field, 0 for 4 from outside. And so in part because of that willingness to step out by West Coast, but really in part just because they haven't been that committed to establishing their outside presence yet.
And you know what's really interesting is as I look at the players on their team, Shakir Howard, their biggest player, also has the most amount of shots from the outside. He's 0 for 3, and 2 of the shots that he took were on the far left side of the basket there. and one of them was not even close. The other one ranged off the rim. But it's interesting that they're taking some of their smaller players, placing them on the inside, and they've been more effective, absolutely, on offensive rebounds than we have, David. And
that's the big factor.
Yeah.
Turns out I was just a little bit over-optimistic in my assessment late in the first half that we were more or less handling the boards. It has stacked up sometimes from a couple of possessions, but in 25 rebound opportunities on our end, we've come away with 10 of those, with 15 offensive boards in the first half. And so really a great performance by the SCLU Rhinos, and really making it tough for us here. And so definitely tricky with Carlos Kennedy, 6 offensive rebounds for 9 so far on the day for him. But it's going to be interesting, right? We're going to have to see how the Eagles come out and respond here. Nick, is there, besides cleaning up the defensive boards, I think at this point that's the major factor, and we've been able to kind of counterbalance that with really dominating the turnover battle. We've forced 11 and only given up 3. We've scored 13 points off turnovers. The Rhinos have scored none. We've got a 12-point margin. We've got a 13-point margin in points off turnovers. That really is the differentiator so far. But number one point of emphasis, it's got to be cleaning up the defensive glass. What would maybe be number 2, the way you'd see it?
Oh man, that one in itself could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points. Being able to box out, making sure that we don't get lazy in our own defensive zone. And what's really interesting is that they've been doing well guarding SCLU from the perimeter. I'd like to see that continue in the second half, is that perimeter guarding and making sure that we don't miss some of the matchups that we should. I think there was a couple times where Ethan missed a matchup, or might even at times Job wasn't able to get around a pick. And that's where we saw some pretty easy baskets by this Rhinos team. You know, David, I was thinking, as we consider some of those points off turnovers, I mentioned earlier in the first half that one of the things that I was seeing is in transition, the Eagles were able to score more baskets, I thought, than SCLU. And one of the things I think will help in the second half is being able to continually take advantage of that. Why? Because of the fact that the bench of the SCLU is not as quantitative as the Eagles bench. The Eagles can go a little bit deeper into their bench, whereas this Rhinos team cannot go as deep. In fact, I think they might have played every single one of their players already. And so if we can get them off the bench and get them moving and having to get back on transition defense, I think we'll wear them out and be able to win this game pretty easily.
One thing that was interesting, for as much as the Rhinos' size has played against the Eagles so far, they've only had 2 blocks, and one of those was on Job's 3 at the end after he kind of got forced in the corner, and they could just time it up. They knew he had to put one up with the buzzer. So they're really not menacing inside. Sometimes those rebounding players are also shot blocking players, whether you're talking your Ben Wallace's or Dwight Howard's or Dikembe Mutombo or whoever throughout NBA history. You think of your big as really controlling the game in both of those aspects. The Eagles have been able to drive, to take it inside without really having a lot of fear there, in part because they've been so good in transition here today.
Right.
And so that's something that, even despite the size of SCLU, it feels like you can kind of pick on that. It feels like you can maybe find some openings there. It'll be interesting to see how that continues.
And that's what Coach John was getting at with Job. I think it was probably about 7 minutes, 8 minutes left in the first half, and he was trying to get Job not to isolate, but to literally drive straight to the basket. Why? Because I think he noticed these guys aren't going to be menacing on the boards as far as blocks are concerned. We're able to get the ball up without any trouble. And so if you're able to do that and make your layups, it should be a pretty seamless game.
Our shooting in the first half, 48% overall, 39% from 3, 4 of 5 from the line. Certainly out shooting SCLU, who is shooting 39% from the field, 0 for 4 from outside, only 3 of 7 from the line. And so we're going to see no real foul trouble to worry about from either side. No player with more than 1 foul for the Rhinos, except for number 1, Carlos Kennedy. No player over 2 for the Eagles, although Ethan, Braxton, and Job, the 3 players with the most minutes in the first half, all do have 2 fouls. So certainly there's other players that we're going to rely on. They're going to be a big part of our game plan, but they are our leading minutes guys so far. They are certainly players that you would anticipate seeing a good amount of in the second half. And so they're just going to need to make sure that they're staying composed. They've got some flexibility. You can still go up, you can still contest, you can still play hard, but just got to play within themselves here. When they got 2 fouls, just staying aware of it, if nothing else.
Right. I think one thing I'd like to see is the Eagles get the ball to Lucas Hernandez in the corner again. It seemed like he was just starting to get hot when they changed their game plan to go to the basket. And while I agree with Coach to go to the basket, I don't think they're really going to be too much trouble in the blocks. I'd like to see Lucas get a hot hand again and be able to hit some of those threes and put some distance in this game.
You got to keep playing those different aspects off of each other, right? Hey, why did we start going in? Because they were stepping out, because we were hitting it. And so it's all a game of punches and counter punches. Eagles certainly with the better in the first round of this fight, but we're going to see if they can hold on off in the second. As we come out of halftime, it's 41-29. Eagles leading by a dozen. Let's get to the second half.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the second half of tonight's game. Rhinos 49, Eagles 41.
And after the Rhinos won the opening tip, it's now Eagles ball coming off the halftime break. Joblet and Braxton work his way around a pick by Ethan. Lucas handling here, just kind of swinging it around. SCLU came up with a little bit more of that intense ball pressure to start the first. We're seeing a repeat of that here. And Chris nails the 3. That's kind of what happened at the start of the first. You can tell SCLU wants to come out. They want to play aggressive. They want to really get out there on the Eagles. And a nice finish by 22 there. But whether it be Job or Chris or Lucas, just bombing away from 3 and hitting it can cause problems. Braxton with a nice spin. Good ball movement here. Job working it in. A little bit low over to Ethan. Lucas coming off the roll. Swinging it around. Let's see if we can do it again.
And
It's it again.
6 for Chris right away in the second half.
47-31. A great start here by the Eagles, and already SCLU having to ask questions about their game plan. You can tell they came out with an adjustment, with a specific action item for the second half, and Chris has just been bombing that into oblivion. We'll see if that continues. Braxton now with it coming back.
Here's
Coach
a transition
for some fast movement here, and sets it. Job thought about that one. He's coming out looking to dance. Let's see if he can get it. Now it's to Braxton's. Half the shot clock down, but still staying controlled. Lucas, and just a little bit deep there. Job almost got all the way back for that one. Ethan doing a good job slowing that one down, but it comes back up. 22 getting to those inside positions. And both sides effective on offense in very different ways here in the early going. 14-point lead, Eagles 47-33. And both sides tapping into that cardio here in the second half.
It looks like number 22, again, we talked about him during halftime. He was kind of forced to the outside, taking a few, maybe some questionable shots, but right away, here in the second half, he's got 4 points, right to the inside, made a beautiful move from really the three-point line. David, it'd be so interesting if I was tall enough to take 2 steps and then basically make a layup from the three-point line. Of course, it looks like SCLU came out with a different game plan. Eagles have to adjust for that. They've got to bump 22 right at the top to make sure he stays towards the perimeter and doesn't get those chances on the inside.
And Nick with that small man's game, he's the living example of the fact that you can't add a cubit to your stature no matter how much you think about it. He's never been mistaken for a center, or at least it's been a while. But definitely both sides more effective in their offensive game plans so far. SELU really struggling on the defensive end here in the early going, but able to find some success. Chris in the corner, didn't quite have it. Now to Job. Job from 3. Splashes that one. And they have been bombing away from right in front of the West Coast students section. And you feel like they almost have to just play it straight up. You can't keep bringing doubles if you're just going to keep giving up 3s. But good finish there. A little righty scoop up and in. Braxton pushing it up. Out in front of 2 Rhinos already. Chris now working it again. Job coming inside. That inside finish,
sweet left hand.
Just pushes it all the way in.
It just seems like Job's able to cut through hot butter like a knife, and it's interesting, how he's able to finish so pure and soft at the boards. And man, you just wish to have a left hand like that.
And really the hardest question right now is that 3 rattles out. Is it a knife through hot butter? Is it a hot knife through butter? I don't know. Job can probably do either if he feels like it. Ethan just a little bit short there, and that's going to be coming back for the Rhinos. 17-point margin. Rhinos looking for answers, especially on the defensive end, but they're going to have to put it in the hoop some more if they're going to get back into this game. And you can tell they're really having to think it through on offense. Just having to sit back and really look at it. Buries it with 4 on the shot clock though. Able to work out a good one. Chris running the floor off of the make. Probably would have been a little bit too ambitious for Braxton, but that's the kind of attack mentality. And pulls up, almost kind of hit that LeBron step back sort of jumper that got him the points record the other day. But points might be had more as well here. A tough finish. Chris thought he'd stayed vertical, but there was some kind of contact there, and the refs thought there was just a little too much of it. Melendez looks like he's coming off right away. Gabe Delaney with the fewest minutes of any Eagle who got on the court in the first half, but definitely a capable player, and looks like coach is going to be trusting with some minutes here, staying on top of it. Lead went from 12 at the half out to 17, now back to 12.
Yeah.
And we'll see where this goes from here.
He took a big shot in the first half, being able to increase our lead. I think at the time it was down to 6 points, and he made it back to 9 with a beautiful 3-point shot. We'll see if he can continue to produce on the 3-point line.
Gabe shuffling around. Braxton been doing a lot of the bringing the ball up the court, ball handling duties here at the start of the second half. Joe pulls, and a little bit to the right there. Gabe forced him to think about it even as they're bringing it up, and really just trying to use that pressure, right? They got to think through, hey, do we lean into trapping Braxton? Do we keep a man just plastered on Job the entire time?
Oh. Well, they called a foul on the floor. It looks like it's going to go against number 3, Ethan Delaney.
Felt like a little bit generous whistle, but he maybe got caught a little bit flat-footed in the second half, right? He's been expending his energy. He's been really pouring into this game so far, leading the charge on defense for us between his blocks and steals. And he's now at 3, so we're going to have to see where we go from here. Galindez in the post.
I'd like to see an offensive foul on that. Look, give him a little bit of an elbow, but again, refs are letting him play a little bit tonight, so it's expected not to see the foul there.
We've got Job, Chris, Gabe, Ethan almost got his, 3rd or 4th from outside, but Job gets the offensive board. And Ethan working here, Job looking inside. Now he wants to post his man up. Swinging it around, 8 seconds left. Chris needs to look for a shot here if he can get it. And clears his man nicely. Almost got the offensive board again. We're back out into transition. Got a little too far under, but able to finish that. And the lead went from 12 to 17 to 7. It's 52-45 here. 10-0 run by the Rhinos after some early threes had pushed the Eagles' lead out significantly.
one of the things that I'm seeing, David, is that after those quick 2 threes from Chris, and then of course the 3 that we saw, I believe is from Job, it's interesting that it looks like the Eagles have gotten a little flat-footed on defense and a little bit, I don't even know how to put it, kind of trying to see the basket or see the hole. Yeah. They're trying to hit that 3. They're trying to find the three-point line instead of just allowing the game to come to them. And of course, coach is just giving them a motivational push to move the ball around. And so it's hard to judge kind of what the Eagles are doing. They do look a little flat-footed on defense, though.
And it feels like the Rhinos calibrated a little bit. They came out just really trying to apply some frenetic pressure, really trying to get up and out there. And there's enough quality ball handling up and down the Eagles roster that you can't just look for those 2 or 3 players that aren't quite ready for it. Right? Like here you got Job inbounding, Nathaniel, now Ethan, and really all 5 Eagles. It's a bit of a smaller lineup for them, even with 22 out on the floor. Gabe hits it, and that's what you want. If you're gonna go 5, oh man, and Chris comes away with it again. They're gonna say that his foot was on the line, but the Rhinos weren't ready for that. And Coach Sisson loved to see that kind of effort. Chris wasn't even the last guy, the furthest guy down, but he saw it, he read the play, and just blitzed in there, giving the Rhinos something to think about.
That's the second time tonight that he's been able to capitalize on that. Unfortunately, his foot was on the line, but you like to see the aggression right away in the second half.
Absolutely. And tries to dance a little bit, but doesn't go for the 3, and now the ball is just kind of bogged down a little bit. And a great steal by Ethan. And you could tell they wanted to run. And here we go, maybe. Job from 3.
Transition. Basket.
And that was a beautiful possession. You felt right away, right, we got the steal, we want to run, but it wasn't there, so they slowed it. And then from slowing it, Joe pushed it right back out to them. But then as the defense came up on Nathaniel, he just kind of held it, found the right play. Just beautiful manipulation of tempo throughout that play.
And once again, 22 staying really on the three-point line. Right now he's got into the inside. And a nice block. Oh, just called for a foul, Nathaniel.
And that's the kind of effort that you want from a player who's smaller and not getting as many minutes in the early goal in this game.
Sure.
Right? You just got to get in there. You got to mix it up. You got to be the one to make things happen. He gets rung up there, but Coach seems pretty chill with that, as he should be. That's great effort.
And I like that foul. You know, if he gets it clean, obviously we're praising his name, but even with the foul, you like that aggression. You like to see it out of a young player who made a wise decision over here on the offensive side. He saw the upcoming Job Seasting, was able to pass it out for a three-point play. And again, we're seeing some offensive rebound problems. Eagles just not able to get those rebounds. Need to box out a little bit more, David.
And we're at a little bit of a disadvantage there. As Joe was back getting coached up by Seth Hanna and then Coach Sisson. And so when the offensive board came down, Joe had to push all the way back to get into the play. But was able to get there and stop the ball. And just some chaos here in the early going. Margins back out to 10. With 12:47 left in this half, it's 58-48. Ethan coming off. Coach trying to stagger some of his minutes here a little bit, as I believe he's the only Eagle with 3 fouls here in the early going. And so Zach Brown getting some minutes really as the lone big here right now. Gabe has enough length, he can play that role some.
You know what, that was great defense there by Gabe Delaney. Unfortunately, not able to kind of complete the defensive possession there, but
Braxton.
Coach over here is asking for a foul on the last play on Job Seasting. I think he probably should have gotten it too. One thing that Coach is doing a good job of is being able to kind of beckon out to the ref without kind of pushing it too far, and I think the ref will keep an eye on that in future plays.
Brown outside now. 24 wants it back, but the ball's coming back the other direction. 8-point margin with 12 minutes to go. And let's see where we go from here. It's a one-on-one. Tries to get inside.
Who it looks
And they're
like a
going to
wall.
pull it. Their first, if I'm remembering right, maybe
Correct.
3 of the night. None in the first half. Let's see if Nathaniel can answer back. Just set his feet nicely, but couldn't get it to fall. It's a 5-point game. That's the closest margin since just the very early minutes of this game. And it looked like he almost got one extra step in there. Balasset working his way in.
That looks like he got one extra step.
And down to 3. They've been pushing a little bit more inside. This is kind of the time that you almost want to try to get away with something. 22 not on the floor. And yet we're all the way down to a 3-point margin. And the Eagles haven't been looking not confused. It's not like SCLU is doing anything that they're just unprepared for. But it doesn't quite look like they're just finding those answers right away. They're having to kind of work things around, see if they can open something up. And it's going to be important to see how they can counterpunch from this point here.
Yeah, again, they keep going kind of back and forth between aggression and then get flat-footed. Kind of watching on defense if some of these guys come barreling in. They really, and again, David, I know we've kind of talked about this. We probably beat a dead horse at this point, but they really need to get those defensive rebounds. They need to pull it down. We had basically a missed free throw. It could have been our possession going the other way, but it turned into a 2-point shot that was buried down in this end because they just couldn't get a rebound off of a free throw.
And let's see if the Eagles here, 22 probably the best big man for the Rhinos, but is not on the court at this point. He's getting a breather. Their coach probably looking to deploy him in the late going. And so there's still certainly length on SCLU's side, but less of a true big presence. Let's see if the Eagles can make things happen here. Lucas back in, Zach Brown. And Lucas doing some ball handling here. Nathaniel in the corner. And Joe looking at the cut here. We got 8 on the shot clock. They're going to have to look for answers quickly here. Nathaniel gets inside. That one's going to get blocked. Stays with the Eagles, though, with 4 seconds left on the shot clock, but gives him a chance to try to set up a play here.
You like to see that aggression out of your young players, though. You like to see them go into the hoop like that.
Got to put it up. 2-1. And
the Eagles on the bench, obviously notifying their player that he only had 4 seconds left, and that's a shot clock violation.
It looked like Zach maybe thought that the deflection there, because it looked like SCLU got their hand on it. It looked like he maybe thought it had fully reset the shot clock, but the bench was still trying to call out. There's a lot of noise in the WAC right now.
Yes.
But there's enough of a countdown going on. Hope someone was able to get the shot up, but it was tough there. Not able to get that teardrop. Good box out by
Great
Joe.
box out. That's what we're looking for. He took the player completely out of the game and was able to get that rebound.
And a steal. Fighting around for it. And let's see if the Rhinos in semi-transition, and they're able to stop them. For the tie, can they get it? And buries that. And so with 10 minutes left in this game, Rhinos have worked their way all the way back. The Eagles are now tied with SCLU at 58 apiece. Gave a little bit short there, bouncing around, and this game has gotten a lot more chaotic in the second half, not just because the numbers have gotten closer, but the overall just gameplay, they're fragmenting a little bit. The Eagles have those players that can thrive in transition states. We're just going to need to see them do it here. And that's going to give the Rhinos, I believe, their first lead of the game. After the early threes by West Coast, put them up. Lucas a little short here. Eagles have gone a little cold from outside over the last couple. And the Rhinos walking it up now, trying to play a little bit slower on offense. David Goe looks like he's going to be coming in for the first time tonight. Maybe bringing some defensive ability here. That one's off. Job hustles down that board. Has an advantage. Let's see if he can get it to go. King, Brown from the corner. That one's not going to fall. Eagles pulling from three quickly on their last couple of possessions. Kind of like we mentioned a little bit earlier. It's not like that was a bad shot. He was pretty open with it.
Yes, yeah. They're just kind of a little bit cold right now on offense. They need someone kind of just come in to give a little bit of life to this team. Coach has got 3 subs coming in and hoping maybe to get a little bit of fire sparked, and that could do the trick.
Job out in front of 2, out in front of 3. That's going to be a take foul. Didn't look like he'd gotten the shot off. Probably not enough in that to be a technical, but they weren't going to let him get all the way into the paint. And no, it is going to be down on the baseline. Goen Galindez coming in here. Galindez now with the ball, working. Let's see if he can make something happen. Ethan Delaney.
Oh, he's inside. Great move to the inside and is able to tie the game again. And one thing that some of these starting players were able to do while some of these other guys were holding down the fort was get a good amount of time on rest. And there's still a couple of starters that are still trying to get some rest on the bench. Looks like coach is allowing Braxton to get a little bit more time out there.
Good job running 24 off the free throw, or off the three-point line.
Great defense by the Eagles here, and another great and strong rebound.
And they're really coming out with some intensity. They certainly weren't asleep before, but definitely a bit of a wake-up call. And let's see if Delaney can get back for a block and plays that one nicely. He knows where he's at with his foul situation.
Right.
Makes it as difficult as possible. Turns out they get that to fall. 2-point margin, just over 7 minutes left to go. Delaney looking to work his way inside.
Yeah, that was pretty clear. He definitely shoved his arm on the way through. It looked like a pretty clear offensive foul.
And you could tell the defender, he was gambling it all for that. He was going to try to make the ref call it.
Right.
He didn't have great position.
He was definitely He was definitely falling back before the arm was extended, but still nonetheless, if a ref can see an arm extend across the body like that, it's a pretty simple call, David. That's an offensive foul all day long.
That's 4 for Ethan, and that's tough after he comes down with a strong board on one side, showing really a lot of what he can bring to this team. Coach is now going to have some tough decisions for him as he figures out who plays, who sits, both for rest and for fouls at this point in the game. Lucas Hernandez just checking over the scores table. Wouldn't be shocked if it's coming for Ethan at this point. 7:17 left in the game. We've got a 62-60 lead by the Rhinos. They've really made a game of it here in the second half. And Zach Clay looks like he'll be checking in for the first time. And so we might have a couple of changes in store over the next couple of minutes as Coach Sisson just looking for answers, looking for options here in the moderately late going.
And it looks like what Coach Sisson is doing is going to try to match some of the size here of the other team. Zach's going to come in pretty fresh. You'd like to see Zach be able to bring a little bit of size and strength to the inside, bring down some of those defensive rebounds, maybe even grab a few offensive rebounds, put them right back up, and we'll see how he impacts this game in the late stages of the second half.
Shakir Howard checking back in for SCLU, and so you know that Coach Sisson felt like he needed to have a specific answer there. Guys like Lucas, guys like they can play up some, they can play above their missing height. But with a true center like that on the other team, you wanted to have a specific targeted defensive matchup there. SCLU playing with plenty of patience here, but are able to rattle that one in as 11 crashes his way over the top. Though there didn't end up being an opportunity for an offensive board anyway.
Yeah, it looks like SCLU will be content to start using some of that clock as they go through the rest of this game. they're definitely trying to get the ball into Lucas's hands.
And Lucas, off those 2 catches, SCLU coming up and really trying to get in on him. He did a great job catching him on the move and keeping going with it.
Absolutely.
Whereas earlier in the game, he had some opportunities where he just had the space to pull up if he felt comfortable with it. So the Rhinos really trying to not give him that here. 4-point deficit for the Eagles with about 6 to go. Joe looking around to pick. King's not going to be working with it with 10 to go. Play to King. And that's
what they were looking for from him.
To cut it to 1. You want that crowd, right? This is the whole point of having a home crowd. They really need to get up with it here over the last 6 minutes. Got a little quiet here in the second half, honestly. Let's see if they can support the team. And tries to throw it into a thicket of arms. Galindez to Seasting, the spin, and Clay with the finish for the lead.
There is that rebound that we were looking for on transition, and probably should have had a foul there.
Job doing a lot of the difficult work and pushing it. Clay with the easy finish, but he put himself in position to get that easy finish. That's what you want to see from him. Closing down. Let's see, it's over to 22, but he pulls up for a jump shot. That's a nice touch there.
Nice soft touch, absolutely.
For the Rhinos.
This is going to come down to probably last couple minutes unless the Eagles can play a little bit tough and get a couple threes maybe going. You know, it's really interesting in the first half, Nathaniel was able to hit a 3 from an inside person that passed back out to the outside. I believe it was Ethan on the assist, was able to dish it back out to Nathaniel, and he hit the 3. This time it was Zach dishing it back out to him. It might be where he's comfortable, going from inside back to outside, be able to catch and shoot.
20 on the shot clock here. Plenty of time to work with, plenty of time to find the right shot. King shakes his man, working down the baseline. Job just that little bit too deep. And Clay almost got up for the board. Seasting wiping out. Let's see if they can get back on defense. And that's a good finish. Good execution by SCLU. Eagles were streaming back, but they just found themselves in the right positions. 3-point game. Lucas from outside. And that's
able to hit that 3 and nail it for the tie.
And that's injection of energy that you hope this crowd can carry with here. Tie game. Let's see where it goes from here. King playing defense relatively far out. Now Seasting with them, trying to make something happen. Job almost comes away with a steal there, bringing extra pressure, extra arms into the defensive work here.
Great defense. What a great defensive possession for the Eagles.
But are able to tie that up with a jump ball. There's now 2 left on the shot clock.
Looks like we have a hurt Eagle on the
Galindez
floor.
is down and staying down. At the angle that we're at, it's a little bit difficult to tell exactly what happened as we're kind of looking up over the scorer's table to the court at that point. But in the melee, as he threw himself in there to try to get his team to stop, looks like he might have gotten banged up a little bit. He's coming back to the bench, but neither he nor Coach Chisholm look too concerned. They might give him a rest right now. Looks like Braxton was potentially checking in anyway. So looks like they're going to give him a minute to reset, but doesn't seem like anything too serious for someone who's been a big part of the energy that the Eagles have brought to the game tonight. 68-68, tie game, 2 left on the shot clock. Eagles have to dig in here. And that wasn't exactly what they had in mind.
Definitely a beautiful play. It's not what the Eagles wanted, but a great setup by the SCLU side coach. And you like to see them just kind of match point for point at this point.
They came ready for that.
Oh my goodness!
Right finish.
What a dive!
The SCLU coach vainly calling for a travel. And none was given there. Tie game. Crowd getting into it, bringing that intensity a bit more. Play with some good minutes late here. You don't normally think necessarily of players getting their first minutes relatively late in the game, but he's come out pretty sharp here in the late going. Some good defense, but there a good cut and his 22 has that range to stretch him out. Clay came up, who's opening down low. Let's see what Lucas can do here. Good ball movement, just keeping it ticking along. Nathaniel here, the outside Lucas from 3, and he
nails it from 3.
Feeling it tonight. That gives the Eagles the lead back for the first time in a couple minutes. And SCLU's coach immediately sending some guys over to the scorer's table. This is going to be just a battle all the way till the end. And
Great defensive play. Oh, I tell you what, the life that Zach has brought to this team, this Eagles team in the second half, man, he's just come out, scored 2 buckets, played some great defense, gotten some rebounds. You just love to see the life that someone can bring coming off the bench, and that looks like the team's got life coming back into the end parts of the second half.
Ethan subbing in for Job, and you feel like at this point they're comfortable enough with the amount of timeouts that they have to play with. Really a defensive focus substitution here. But good work by SLU, finding the one player with a little bit less length on the court right now for the Eagles. And King putting in good effort there, but just a little bit of a mismatch. Good work hunting it by SLU. Both sides really going at it. Ethan, Nathaniel, and resetting here. There's 13 on the shot clock. Braxton now going to be working from here. This is step his way around. Ethan with room, 6 left. Let's see if he can get something up. Clay.
Oh!
Soft touch.
Just bringing his game tonight. What a beautiful little touch from the baseline.
2 minutes left. Eagles up by 1. This is the time for the crowd to get loud. Let's see a tough shot and a good board. Ethan coming down with composure, got knocked away from him, but he was able to hold it. Braxton bringing it up, has the space to be able to do something with it. They get it across half court. Coach just immediately calls a timeout. Let's see if we can hold on to the lead here. We're going to have to get buckets at this point. This game's not finished in 75-74, but better to be up 1 than down 1. Let's see where they pull out and execute here.
The players immediately coming to Zach Clay, letting him know what kind of life they brought, or he brought to the table there as we come to the final parts of this game. I've got to tell you, Lucas Hernandez finding his hot hand late, even on that last shot, which was a little bit more contended, just being able to pull up and nail that 3 without a doubt. Man, I tell you what, they're getting hot at the right time, and we want to see this momentum carry all the way through the last minute and 41 seconds of this game.
And there's a lot of ways that this team can win. Job's been good tonight for sure, but this isn't some 40-point explosion that everyone's just looking at him and waiting for him to work. A lot of players contributing, even players like Ethan bringing that energy, that defensive edge in the early going. He got in foul trouble. He had to sub out. Zach Clay came in and just kept that energy level up. Lucas keeping him to shooting from the outside. Chris with the ball handling, and really just up and down the roster contributions here. 1:41 left. Eagles up by a point. It's 75-74. Eagles with the ball and the thinnest of margins. Let's see what they can draw up here.
David, even with a 2-point shot, they put the game at a 3-point lead, and SCLU has not had the greatest of luck tonight from the 3-point line. So right now, we just want a 2-point score here.
And they called some moving screen. I didn't quite see what they were exactly looking at, but there definitely was some kind of contact going on. Could have been clean, could have been not. The ref saw a bit too much there. The Eagles gonna have to dig in. The crowd's on their feet. 1:25 left. Rhinos down 1, looking to retake the lead, coming inside. And Zach came over to get some help there, and then just the way that the ball bounced came right back to the Rhinos. And it looks like we're going to have another timeout here by the Eagles. And and they're going to now work their way back to the 1-point deficit. Rhinos just went down and were able to come back with a counter. Let's see if the Eagles can execute it now.
Looks like
same lineup as has been out there. Braxton, Ethan, Lucas is kind of those wing players. Job is the primary ball handler. Zach Clay giving them some height.
looks like Coach was just given a warning by one of the referees there, and obviously upset. Probably should have been upset at the last possession, but
Ethan shakes his guy with the head fake, and a deserved foul call there.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
The ref let that one play out, but you can tell every eye on this West Coast side was watching, waiting for that whistle. Ethan now has a chance at least to tie us, hopefully to bring us to the lead. And they're going to call a timeout now from the Rhino side. Set up an offensive plan of attack. There's 61 seconds left. Eagles down 1, but with 2 trips to the line here. And if they get the benefit of trying to ice Ethan as well, I'm sure that they'll take that as well.
One of the things that is interesting on that last play, Ethan had definitely beat his man on the baseline, and what happens when you beat your man, you come up for a layup and they come right into your body. It's an easy call, easy foul, and a deserved call, a deserved foul for Ethan Delaney, who had a great first step on his defender.
And let's see if they keep the same lineup or if they try to kind of actively finagle with those offense-defense substitutions. It's been a great game here so far. Really, you wish it wasn't quite as tense of an ending after the Eagles went up. But after giving up that lead, they fought their way back in. They didn't fold. And now with 1 minute and 1 second left, the Eagles have a chance here to take the lead and dig in. Eagles down 1, Ethan Delaney going to the line for 2. Neither side in particular foul trouble, so both have something to give if it comes down to that. Ethan looking calm, looking in a good state of mind here, but let's see if he's able to convert on that by at least giving us the tie, hopefully giving us the lead. You got to figure the Rhinos looking for a 2-for-1 here. They got the time to play with it.
Absolutely.
And the first one is pure.
It's a clutch first free throw. Let's see if he can give us a lead. We can walk away up by 1 here.
And it's up. And
Good.
It's good. Silky smooth. Beautiful shots. No doubt on either of those. The Eagles ready here. They've got to put it all on the line. They've got to hold this to 1 possession. Can't give up offensive boards here. They're digging in. Let's see if they can come away with it. Really the 1 3-point shooter on the Rhinos side.
Oh, travel! That's a travel!
And the Eagles coming away with a stop here. That's what you love to see. Plenty of game left, 48.2. Eagles up 1. They're going to have to convert. Ethan, and with the defense's attention focused on Job, swings it back over to Braxton, giving himself an opportunity, but in a tricky spot here, back into the corner. Now it's to Job, 18 on the shot clock. If they can just get a bucket here, Job frees himself. It's out, it's up, it's short, and this is going to be possibly the last possession here. Eagles looking for it, and there's going to be a timeout by the Rhinos. If you're the Eagles, you almost just want to throw the kitchen sink at them early. If you're going to be down, almost want to have 10 seconds to do something with it. But it's going to be tense here. It's going to go all the way down to the wire. 16.5 left. At this point, the Rhinos can just play it to the buzzer. Eagles up by 1 point here. This is going to be just as tense as you can get it. And
we're going to need some of that first half defense, some of that aggressive defense that we saw right away. I think Coach is probably going to consider putting some of the best defenders in here as they finish out the half. One thing you don't want is a foul with less than several seconds, maybe a foul right away to put them in an awkward situation.
there's fouls to give, and so
Absolutely.
if something is opening up that you just have to, if you've got the time to do something with it, you just got to be willing to make that business decision there. Eagles up 1, 16.5 left. Coach Sisson coaching them up on, it sounds like, what to do if they try to post. And honestly, they don't do quite as much of pure posting. It's more getting that drive, body kind of open into a shot. But let's see, Zach Clay still out there in crunch time. Ethan and Braxton, the wings for this. Job and then Chris at this point, giving them another ball handler, another shooter, if it comes down to that. And the Rhinos having to figure out what to do here. Job picking him up pretty much from the jump and gets in. And they're going to ring the Eagles up there. That there was enough of a drive there that it's not a shock there was some contact, but it looked like the Eagles had kind of embodied that verticality. Just go straight up for it. It's loud in here, praying for at least one miss. That first one hits the back of the rim a little bit, but pretty safe, pretty much got it. Let's see, Eagles praying that this is tied and that they get the ball back. Rhinos pulling their guys out. Eagles honestly have to be thankful for that. And that's it. Now the Rhinos calling timeout. 7.2. The Eagles are down 1 and in just a back and forth battle down the home stretch here. Let's see what the Eagles are able to cook up. Nathaniel King going to the scorer's table. You wonder if at this point they're just going to play an offensive possession. Zach Clay's night might be done at this point. Lucas Hernandez going over and checking in.
Yeah, looks like he's checking in for Zach.
Well, the scoreboard doesn't show us timeouts, but both sides have called a decent amount. I don't think there's much that they have to play with here. And so with 7.2 left, I mean, honestly, you want to have that shot up by maybe 2 to 3 seconds left. Hopefully you can get, maybe an Ethan or someone charging the rim for a putback, a tip back, something like that if it comes down to it. But this is just as crunch as you can possibly get crunch time.
And outside of someone mauling someone else, the refs might or likely going to back off calling any kind of foul. So you need to take a clean shot and make sure that you make the best of this 7 seconds.
And I mean, we saw a week and some back with LA Boston, right? LeBron going inside, refs swallowing the whistle there. They feel like they don't want to interfere. They don't want to intervene.
Right.
Unless there's something that's really clear. With 7.2 seconds left, working at full court, you've got the time to get all the way inside, but you might also have to look for an open 3. Job getting it on the run, doing a great job moving it up. And that's going to be a foul. The Rhinos had one to give. Both sides, well, I was going to say both sides happy enough with that, and then I looked over at the irate Rhinos coach, and I take back that statement. Eagles getting it up, working their way down the quarter, 3.7. So certainly not much time to work with, but you had 7.2 to get it full court. To still have about 4 seconds to get a shot up,
right?
That's not half bad.
And like you said, it's closer to the 4-second mark. You almost have that full second before it clocks under 3, and plenty of time. Make sure that coach sets up a great shot for whoever he wants to take this shot, and if it is a made shot, it will surely be a game-winning shot. There is no way around that, and you think maybe possibly getting the ball into Job's hand. He's kind of been the steady scorer throughout the game, but then again, Lucas has had the hot hand in the second half. Nathaniel certainly isn't a scrub. He's going to come out, he's going to want to shoot the ball, and you kind of want to get to one of those 3 guys, maybe even Chris, who made 2 quick threes right at the beginning of the second half. Really, there's endless possibilities for this. Possibly even, you never know if Zach might make his way in the game. I think he's going to keep the lineup as is, but you really want to get the ball as close to the basket as possible for this.
And you've got time to to make a move, to make a pass. With 3.7 left, right? You've got to come out there ready to execute. Coach just has a plan. He's let them know what he wants them to do. They don't have time to just kind of dance and look for the best shot. They gotta put this one in here. And so we've got Braxton on the side. Let's see where this play goes. Lucas, the man, right up there. And that one's not gonna come down for Ethan. Lucas said he went for a foul, and there was a clear, not much time, but clear time between his foul and the buzzer. So let's see how much time they put on the clock here. And went for the basket. The defense stepping out on Lucas as the hot hand, on Job as the go-to scorer.
Looks like
1.8. Okay, we've got 1.8 on the clock here. You wonder if they're almost just going to miss the second just to go for the chaos, force them to throw up a full court shot, or if they're going to try to push it out to a three-point margin. 1.8, the crowd getting as loud as possible here. Gets the first, that gives them some margin to deal with. And now they're bringing, and the Rhinos backing back out. They don't want to bring guys down, which means if this is a miss, or really if it's a make, there might be a clear shot coming off. And so they're going to call a foul here, whittling down that 1.8. So we'll see how much time they call left on it. So it's all seemingly going to come down to one more play.
They're bringing them down back to the baseline, and frankly, that should have been a sideline foul.
Down to 1.8 to go. And it looks like they're keeping it at 1.8 there. No more time is ticked off of the clock as Braxton got wrapped up right about when he got the ball. So this is going to have one full court opportunity, and they're going to see if they can try to buy a foul, and that one's not going to. And the ref, this is a symphony of whistles and buzzers. And a pass interference really is almost the best way to phrase it. No, it's going to be out of bounds off their back. And so against the oddest of odds, the Eagles now with a chance, 1.1 left to throw something up.
Oh boy, that should have been a foul call.
And Lucas was swallowed in the warm embrace of the defenders. And good shot, honestly about as good as you were going to get with 1.1. But the Rhinos showing tenacity, coming out of here with the win, 79-77, and a lot of energy, a lot of emotions been expended on both sides over the course of this game. The Rhinos honestly probably disliking some of the calls against them, although it felt like they were all fair in the moment. Lucas not excited about almost the wrap